Hello, math students. Welcome back to Module 4, Expressions and Equations. This is Lesson 16, and it is called Finding Solutions to Make Equations True. The goal for today we will give a value to find the variable to find the solution of an equation. And the question that I want you to think about in this lesson is, how do you find a solution to an equation? All right. So some things to know. The first thing that we want to do is we need to talk about steps that we need to know in order to figure out what the variable means and how to solve it and get the solution. So the steps that I would like you to pay attention to are step number 1. First of all, you need to identify the variable. When you're looking at a math sentence, you have to know what they are meaning the variable to represent. Second thing is you have to determine what's happening to it. And then the last step is find a value that makes sense for the solution. Okay? And so we're going to start off by applying these 3 steps to some practice problems under the Let's Try It section. And the first one that we see 4 cubed is equal to y. So if we take ourselves through the steps, the first step says to identify the variable. So when I identify the variable in this one, I see that y is the variable. Okay, then the next step says determine what is happening to it. Well, in this instance, it is being used as a solution marker because we don't know what the solution is yet because we have to do the math in order to find it. Okay, and then step 3 says find a value that makes sense for the solution. So in this specific problem, it's very simple because all we have to do is we have to take 4 cubed. Well, 4 cubed means 4 times 4 times 4. And we learned that in previous lessons in this module. So you should be able to remember that when you see the base is 4 and the exponent is 3, it means that you have to take the base and multiply itself by the number of the exponent, which happens to be 3. So that's why I did 3 fours. So 4 times 4 is 16. And now I have to take 16 and I have to multiply it by 4. So 4 times 6 is 24. Regroup the 2. 4 times 1 is 4, plus 2 is 6, and so I get an answer of 64. So then now I know that the value that makes sense for the variable is that y has to equal 64. And so that's how you would figure out the solution to that one. All right, so now let's try the same process again on the next one. The next one says 8a is equal to 24. So the first thing that I have to do in my steps is I have to identify my variable. My variable is a, okay? Then it says determine what's happening to a. Well, in this problem, it says that a is being multiplied by 8. And when you take a and multiply it by 8, you get an answer of 24. Well, knowing my math facts, I know that 8 times something equals 24. And because I know my math facts, I know that that something has to be 3. So 8 times 3 is 24. Well, then that means that a has to be equal to 3. Because right here it's saying 8 times a equals 24. So 8 times 3 equals 24. So a has to be 3. Okay? Starting to make a little more comfortable, I hope. Showing you that it's a pretty simple process as long as you can make sense of what is happening to your variable. All right, so the next problem, first thing it says to do is identify the variable. So the variable in this one is g. So now it says that 32 is equal to g minus 4. So that means that g is some number that when I take away 4, it gives me an answer of 32. So I'm going to say to myself, some number minus 4 equals 32. And if I just think about that, some number I have to take 4 away gives me 32. Well, I'm thinking that it equals 36 because 36 minus 4 equals 32. So now I know that g is equal to 36. Okay, so not too bad. These are pretty simple. As long as we can remember our math facts, as long as we remember the steps of what we were supposed to do and when we're identifying, we should be good to go. So the next one says 48 divided by r equals 12. So step 1 is identify your variable. My variable is r. Now it's saying that 48 divided by some number gives me 12. So 48 divided by some number gives me 12. And if I know my math facts, I know that 12 times 4 equals 48. So I'm thinking that 48 divided by 4 equals 12. So now I know that R has to equal 4. Okay? And kiddos, what you're starting to see when we're working through each of these is that you have to know your math facts. You have to have good number sense in order to figure out what the variable is. So let's keep going with the last one. My last one right here says that the variable is x. And in this math sentence, it says some number multiplied by 1/5 equals 60. And what I know from multiplying by a unit fraction is that it means the same thing as divided by 5. So I could say some number divided by 5 is equal to 60, and that makes it a lot easier for me to think. And I'm thinking, okay, well, I know that a number that's divided by 5 that gives me a 6 happens to be 30, but this happens to be 60. So I'm thinking 300. So I would also like to check it both ways and say, okay, 300 times 1/5 should equal 60. So let's see what it does. 300 times 1 is 300. 1 times 5 is 5. And then I do 300 divided by 5. 5 goes into 36 with 0 left over. So that would make it 60. And there you go. We found the answer. So it does confirm that x in this problem has to equal 300. So again, boys and girls, showing your work, knowing your math facts, and being able to follow those 3 steps. So the 3 steps are identify the variable, determine what's happening to it, and then find the value that makes sense for the solution. Okay, let's go back up to our goal for today. Today we will give a value to the variable to find the solution of an equation, which is what we did. And then the question that we were supposed to be thinking about is, how do you find a solution to an equation? Basically, I would say the best way to find the solution to an equation is to make sense of the math sentence so that you know what you're looking for, and then also know your math facts. Definitely very important on that one. All right, kiddos, that's all I have for you today. Talk to you soon. Bye.